Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Treq inspired Malaga. I know it's been like over 2 weeks. All I can do is apologise. I've been playing the game offline. I've just had a little bit of a creator's kind of block and I've not been wanting to pick up the mic. However, it's got to the point now where I'm going to dive back into it. So for the next few weeks and months, we're going to absolutely dominate this series. Remember, I'm only allowed to play a 4-2-3-1. And play with a Treq. Now, I did nearly offer it out to you guys to change it because I was getting a little bit tired of kind of improving each season but not making that massive jump. And I've kind of got a few players in that we could make a really nice back three. But I've thought, no, and I hope you guys will appreciate, no, we're going to stick to the principles that we came up with at the start of the series. So if you're still here for the Treq Inspired Malaga, just drop a like on today's video. That would be lovely. So for today, we're going to go through what happened towards the end of the last season, season 9. I've actually started season 10, so I have kicked on a little bit. We've got a few signings to show you, including one in the January. A bit of a quiet summer. We weren't giving a massive amount of money in this. How we've done. And let me know. I was very close. I had to, not re-interview for my job, but I had to go in and have a chat about our performance over the season, which was a little bit disappointed in. And as you could see, for the season, we finished in 5th. Now, we did have an absolute spectacular run at the end of the season, winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, winning all of our final 6 games. We've done a little bit of a change in formation. We've been dabbling and trying to get the Treq right. Is proving to be super difficult. They kind of don't affect games as much as they want, and I'm trying to find a way of hiding it a little bit. Towards the end of the season, we played quite well and we went with the Treq as a striker, and I thought that was the way to go in the summer. Sold a couple of strikers as well because we didn't need it, and we've kind of had to rechange our thinking a little bit. But what I've thought is, I think the only way we get better now, it proves right here that the tactic does work, and we're going to talk about what we need to do going forward, but I think it's more about recruitment and getting better players for each position as we go. We know the tactic works, so if we have better players with the right tactic, we should be fine. So I'm going to try and hold on to players now the best I can. Obviously, we need to make money where we can. Now, obviously, we didn't win the Champions League. We got through the group stage, which was really impressive. Finished in 11th. We had a little bit of a sticky spell the last 3 games. So in the last 2 games, a defeat at Bayern and a draw against Porto, which meant we had to go into the knockout round, the first knockout round. And as you can see, of all teams, we drew Manchester City. We were leading at the Etihad as well until the 85th minute. And then they scored, obviously, and then they managed to sneak a deserved draw, should I say. And then Erling Haaland scoring the only goal of the game. And we just had a couple of chances. We had one at 1-0 in the first leg and then one at 0-0 in the second leg. And, small margins, but Manchester City definitely deserved to go through over the 2 legs. The Copa del Rey got to the semi-finals. Home leg, 0-0. Away leg, 2-0. Disappointing, but, we're just struggling to get past these 2 big boys at the moment. So I didn't think it was actually a bad season. Finishing in 6th in the division. The only thing is the board wanted Champions League football, which I thought was the only little bit of a disappointment is Girona got 4th spot. And Girona, if Girona are doing it, maybe we should do it. And I think we've struggled with that Champions League matches and going into a little bit of bad form. And then once we were out of Europe, them last 6 games, we hit top form again. So we obviously need to make our squad bigger. We need to make sure that we can rotate better and not feel like we're weakening the side when we rotate. So we've tried to do that in the summer. We were given £25 million, and this is what we did with it. In the January of the last season, the season 9, we actually made a January transfer signing. Only 1 in player in, none out, 1 in, and it was Luis Carlos, 13.75 million from Brazil. Where was he? Sao Paulo. Really good signing. Tremendous mentals and physicals. One of those typical sort of like big, strong Brazilian defenders that you often get coming in as regens. Capped by Brazil now. Only 6 foot. 66 grand a week. Obviously, his value's gone up. He's made a really good start. Average rating of 6.94, but a really good signing. He was also doing a job, and we tweaked with the inverted fullback. He was actually doing as a job for us out there as well. So if we need to go, we started with an inverted fullback at right back, and then we looked at bombing on the left. Something potentially we may look at down the line. We did some sales as well. Kobe Menu out of the door. He had a year left on his deal, was going on a free. So we got 2.5 mil. Like, he's not the Kobe Menu. I don't know if he's actually had an upgrade for sort of like the updated database. I'm not sure, but yeah, that is going to be a massive improvement on Kobe Menu for next year. Landry Farr was not someone I was looking at selling. We have replaced him at right back, but it was for him to be a backup. But when you manage to double your money on a player that you've had for a year, not great, a lot of average across the board. Physical's okay, mental's okay, technical's okay. Could play in a variety of positions, but we didn't really need that. We're kind of covered in different areas. So we decided to cash in on him. When we only given 25 million, I thought it was important to try and, make money where we can. And then Bruno Iglesias, we got him for 3.2. We've sold him for 10.5. He was leaving on a free at the end of this season because he wouldn't want to sign a new deal. So to get that amount of money for him, more than happy. The only shame is he is Spanish. And then our third choice keeper, we got him like right towards the end on a free transfer. He's now retired. And then probably the biggest sale out, because we were looking at playing this Treq, we managed to get 40 million for Moukoko. Now the idea is yes, I don't think he's an absolute world beater. I think the player that we've got in as a little bit of a replacement is probably better. And to get that amount of money for him, once again, 2 seasons with us, doubling his money. He didn't have a great season last year, only 15 and 32. We want over 20 goals at least from our striker. Fontana's gone out on loan, backup right back that we'd signed. Really important that he gets a good run out this season. And the other one, Mohamed Fareh. We've brought a couple of players in from the B team. Someone who sort of like trained at the club. He was classed as a wonder kid. We've just not been able to play him, and he's not kicked on because he's our backup for the last 2 years. He's obviously just not kicked on the way we would have liked. So he has gone to Leeds. Okay, players in. Yeho Apapavov. Look at those physicals. Look at those mentals. We got him for £17 million. He is kind of an inverted left back, stroke centre half. Marsa is now one of our oldest players, was hopefully going to go Saudi Arabia and rejected a deal, which is crazy because he would have been offered more money. He decided to stay and was happy at his playing time. But he is like the long-term replacement for Marsa, who's been playing sort of like a hybrid left back and left centre back role. Fernando Martin Ramos is a player that I'm not regretting getting him, but he was our third foreigner, and I've missed out on a really good midfielder because we already had 3 foreigners in the squad. Well, 3 non-EU players, Brazilian and Argentinian. But I think he'll be pretty good. Once again, can play this inverted wing-back role. I'm debating whether to go down the Manchester City route and go with sort of like 4 really strong defenders in defence. I don't know how I would work that into a 4-2-3-1. I suppose you could just do it and obviously don't rely on any overlaps and maybe allow our central midfielders to maybe a little bit higher, maybe be a little bit more adventurous with them too in the double pivot. Maybe a Volante alongside a Regista. So we could do it with him maybe forming a little bit of a back 4 at right back. Buluku then defeats all the object of that because he is an attacking winger. Once again, really good value. Not over £11 million for this Ukrainian wonder kid, 20 years old. 15 crossing, 16 technique, really good physicals, decent mentals as well. Could we turn him into a winger? I really want to keep with the tactic. I don't want to play around with the tactic too much in terms of going from a wide 4-2-3-1 to a narrow 4-2-3-1 that we're playing at the moment. So, yeah, he's a good right wing back at the moment because we're playing with that wing, sort of like the wing back on attack option. If we go to the inverted full back, he's not going to be as good because obviously the idea is that we use him to bomb down that right-hand side. Elisha is our new third choice keeper. We've been tracking him for absolutely years. Was always going to be a little bit of a backup. We finally got him in. We've paid a little bit of money for him. He'll be just our backup for the foreseeable. Third choice keeper. And Raul Hernandez is in. We've got him on loan from Manchester United. He signed from Athletic Club as a youngster. He's only 23. We have an option of £44 million. I think we can get him in the summer. As you can see, he looks absolutely tremendous. Made a decent start. He didn't suit the Treq role. So we're now playing him as a DLF on support with the Treq. The Treq is quite a hard one to follow because you would think the Treq would kind of drift around in these areas. He doesn't. He stays really high. So the idea is that we have now Hernandez dropping off and allowing the other 3 to go beyond, in particular the 2 shadow strikers. The Treq is still wide, roams into wide areas, but we're really seeing the DLF going in, popping it off, and finding the runners from the shadow strikers. We've obviously still got players like Edu Sanchez on that left-hand side, really good left back. And obviously, we've got the 2 attacking fullbacks now on either side. Midfield does need a little bit of work. We've still got Ardagula, but we do need to strengthen. Definitely in there next season. The only problem is, though, Hernandez is going to be a signing already, 44 million, so we need to try and save our pennies a little bit. So Senator was sort of like a game breaker to a certain extent. There was a bit of £70 million coming from Leeds, and I rejected it because I didn't have anyone else of real good quality at good value that I could come in and replace him straight away. All the other options I had were sort of like 40, 50 million. He's absolutely outstanding. We haven't had an issue with him, and I want to keep my best players. So I rejected the deal, and I think now we look at just building each season, making our bench stronger. We need to strengthen in here. You know, on the bench, we've got Mora, I tried to sell Mora in the summer. He was predicted wonder kid. He's just not kicked on at all. Hasn't played many, but, you know, scoring only, 4 goals in 14 starts, 14 a sub, ain't great. We've got players like Ledesma, who we could probably sell on. Like, he's not... I'm still struggling to find a position for him. I don't think he's actually that good. We played with him as a libero a little bit last year and was doing really well. But for now, we're going to keep with this, try and build round this. I think there's definitely options here that we can work on and build in terms of, you know, being good enough for the team right now and going forward. And then just keep building each year, trying to get better players in through the door. We've brought in Carbonell as well, backup centre-half, look, only rated 2-star, but he's coming from our B team. Our B team, by the way, who won the 3rd tier for the 2nd time and have been promoted back into La Liga 2. So we've now got them back into La Liga 2, and hopefully they'll have a little bit of a better showing than what they did last time round. Beating Deportivo as well to the title, like, so impressive from our B team. Absolutely fantastic. And to cap it all off, our under-19s again won their division. They always win their division or do really well. 29 wins, 4 draws, only 1 defeat, 130 goals scored. We then beat Real Valladolid over 2 legs. Real Oviedo in the semis. And we beat Las Palmas again for the 2nd year running. We have won the under-19s national championship 3 seasons in a row. We've really focused on the youth in terms of making sure that they have a good squad, the player pathway that we've spoke about. I think I will do another deep dive. If you would love to see a deep dive into the B team and the under-19s and how I work absolutely everything, put that down in the comments and I'll do another sort of like update video on that if you'd like to see that. But we're absolutely fantastic. We've upgraded facilities. We've got really good coaches. And we're just making sure our squad isn't too big. So look at our squad in the under-19s. Actually really small. Our squad for the B team as well, really small. I think the bigger the squads, managers tend to give them a little bit of game time, and it kind of costs us a little bit in terms of squad rotation, not playing and not giving these younger players the options and the opportunity to play on a regular basis. And the B team, them to their credit, are doing all right. They started well the season before when they were in the 2nd tier, and then ended up getting relegated, but they've started pretty well. 3 wins, 3 defeats, only 3 points away from relegation zone. So it'd be nice if they can pull a through. Look at Deportivo, by the way. You know, they were just behind them in the league, and now they are rock bottom, only 1 point in the last 6 games. Right, we're going to carry on with this episode. We're going to play Valencia away. And our form so far at the start of the season has been pretty good. We're in 5th. What does the board want from us this year? Supporters have not been happy with us, only satisfied. Look, they're unhappy. Very disappointed with the 1-0 defeat against Barcelona. Disappointed about the 1-0 defeat against Real Madrid. We're just nowhere near at that level. We've got a billionaire owner who's only giving us 25 million a year. Now, they want Champions League football. Looks like it has to be. Now, we have got Europa League football this season. And what we're doing is we're going to play with our backup sort of like squad and rotate heavily in that. And I think we should be able to qualify for the knockout round of that. We are in 5th. We've already played Real Madrid and Barcelona away and at home. 2 1-0 defeats. Barcelona was nothing really in it. There was like 7 shots for them and 4 for us. Real Madrid gave us an absolute pasting. But it shows we're not a million miles off. I'm just struggling to really create and take the game to them. So I'm thinking of when we play them next time that we might do a little bit of a low block and play direct and see if we can get those front 4, like hitting them on the break. So I'm going to try that the next time we play them. But we've responded well. A 1-1 draw at Mallorca. And then 4 wins on the bounce. Cadiz, Almeria, Granada. Teams that, yeah, we should be beating, but we're beating them. and Olympiacos 3-0 in the Europa League phase. Our Europa League phase has teams such as Arsenal, Tottenham, CO Sporting are in there, so it's going to be tough to actually win it. I was hoping we could go all the way. I think it's just the two English clubs, maybe Atalanta as well, that are potentially Villarreal, but we'd maybe fancy to beat Villarreal maybe over 2 legs if we have a good season and we can carry on this form for a longer period of time. Our group draws, we got Hearts, PSV, Sporting, Dynamo Zagreb, HJK, Midtjylland and Fenerbahce. So we've got to be careful. I think the idea is that we don't do the complete swap of 11. Our squad's not big enough for that, but just rotating. We've got players like Gustavo Sarr on the bench, Ledesma, Ramos, the new signing, Mora. Teo's now a bit of a sub. Apohov, we've just spent big on. So we've got loads of options just to give us a little bit of a rest. Right, we're going to dive in to the game and see how this DLF is working. Right, it's game day. I forgot to mention as well the average age of our squad. So we've got 3 players 30 and plus. One of them's our backup goalkeeper, so we kind of don't include that because we always get an oldie in as our third choice. Marsa, who we're trying to get rid of, he's the player that is now 30. He's got clubs from Saudi that are wanting to sign him, so I'm hopefully going to be able to get rid of him. So let's offer him out again, see what we get for him. He's been a good servant, to be fair to him. He's been with us a long time. 5 seasons that we've had in La Liga. And the other one after that is Teo, who's, been an absolute stalwart for us, been with us every season. Big clubs, Roma after him. I do want to keep him. I don't want to sell him. He's like, I'm going to keep him until he can't basically run it. Well, he's already on pace 10, so he's going to get a lot slower. He's struggling a little bit. Finding a position for him. The deeper position hasn't really worked. The Treq doesn't work really for him, but having him as a backup is, I think, going to be the way forward for us. Someone that we don't, once again, we don't have to keep selling players for not a lot of money because they're going to need replacing. He's only a backup. He can do a job. And then after that, Baz Cecic isn't even really, if he wasn't Spanish, I would have sold him in the summer. He's unhappy that he didn't go to Leeds, but the rest are 27 and younger. So we've got absolutely the right age going forward. We just need to sprinkle a little bit of magic into the team over the next few years and really improve that starting 11. Right, so Gustavo Sarr is probably going to be our out-and-out Treq when we get to it because he has got fantastic vision, passing technique. But apart from that, we're at our probably strongest. So Senatore in goal, Buluka, Luis Carlos, Barrinchia, Edu Sanchez, Ocon and Arda Güler. I definitely think we need to strengthen there. I am going to, 1, 2. Those are our 2 absolute key positions that we're going to try and strengthen because I could potentially move Arda Güler up into there. Estevao, Shabisky, Miguel Angel and Hernandez. How many Spaniards have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do with a couple more Spaniards. We've got loads on the bench, but I could do with a couple of Spaniards in the starting 11. Neves in the midfield. He'd be old. Udogi, Pau Torres. They've got some big names. Right, we're in good form. They are second. They are in tremendous form. However, a win for us today might actually put us as high as second place. So we were in good form last night. Obviously, I've turned the computer off, and it's a new day, isn't it? So we'll see. Where is he? Hernandez. There he is. I just see the movement of him, and then also the movement of, not him, Shapisky, the Trequartista. He still gets in the penalty areas. Gulaf goes in, still gets in the penalty area, still goes like tap-ins. When we're in the final third, he acts like a centre-forward. However, it's them build-up moves and working through the thirds where he drops right off and plays with his back to goal a lot of the time. Right, they're in here. It's a good block. Good block, but a really poor defensive line. Right, highlight. 17 minutes. We've had nearly 70% of the ball. Obviously, they're in a 4-4-2, so maybe a little bit of a counter-attacking side. So we've still got good cover. Like Trequartista working hard, Miguel Angel. We're in a good block. We're nice and narrow. Well done, goalkeeper. And then when we build, there is Hernandez. And there is Shapisky. So we'll see the runs. So nothing as yet. He's quite flat. Shapisky's in. He stayed quite high this time. Hernandez. Good work though. Good build up. Can we get a cross? Oh, right across the goal. And then we ended up looking a bit like a 4-2-2 because that Trequartista just gets so high. We did try Estevao as well as a Trequartista up front at the start of the year because he's so good. And he just didn't. He had a shocking start to the season. So I thought, right, he's our best player. We need to make sure we put him where he's performing. So we've put him back as shadow striker. But this is proving a little bit of a problem at the moment. RXG. I would have thought we're underperforming RXG a little bit. Right, Goulet, Ocon, Luis Carlos, the Brazilian. Bullock out. Nice and patient. Barinchia. Edu Sanchez. Estevao, we're in. Pull. He didn't pull it, but he's absolutely banged it in. I forgot to show you as well how we're playing tactically. Passing to space, through the middle, slightly shorter passing with higher tempo, just so we're still trying to retain the passing a little bit, but we want it done quickly. We want to get that ball forward. We want to get those runners in, passing to space, especially when we have those two shadow strikers and the fullbacks coming around the outside. Really nice build-up. Worked it from right to left. Took our time. Estevao coming in. Like, we need players of his quality across the pitch, and we just haven't got that yet. Like, he is world class, to be fair. We've had to sign him to a new deal. He's on 225,000 a week, which is huge for us, considering there's only two players over 100 grand a week, him and Arda Güler. But that's a good goal, good start. We made a really good start. 67% possession against a team currently in second place. We'll take it. Obviously, we've got that huge overload in the middle. With their 4-4-2, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and their strikers are having to drop really deep to help play against our defensive two-look, which is giving our two centre-halves so much time on the ball. And what we might get, just to try and entice their centre-halves, their central strikers, let's dribble more and try and pull them strikers towards us a little bit. So if you can drive into that midfield and maybe pull out a midfielder or pull out their strikers, and we'll get even more of an overload in that centre of the pitch. Need to defend these wide areas though. Good header. A doggy, no way. He was available for transfer, a doggy, but he's like 29 now. I also tried to sign Andre, who plays at Fluminense. He was available on a free, but he wanted 340 grand a week, and we couldn't offer him that. He was 30, so I still thought, and he had really good physical, so he was probably at a profile that we could have got, but we just didn't have the money. Right, good football. Nice. A little bit quicker. We're trying to go through, I was just about to say, trying to go through the lines a little bit. Trying to do that little bit sort of like Red Bull football where we're quick. We're still passing quite short. We're not being overly long, but we want to be quick through those thirds, and this is how it looks. Look, runners, little give and goes. Oh, he's off. Miguel Angel's off. It's a great strike. They always score. When they're offside, I managed to bag it, but he was well offside there. Yeah, so trying to be really quick through the thirds and how we transit. Obviously, the counter-attacks is going to be on, but I want us to be really quick. Obviously, in slow build-up, we've got to be careful because we end up getting quite narrow and it's quite easy to defend against. But when we play like this, where it's pass, really hard for defenders, especially now we've got the central striker dropping off a little bit and allowing, if you look at our passing network, Hernandez is our striker. He's deeper than the Trequartista, up in line with pretty much the two wing-backs and then the two shadow strikers going beyond. It's a really good half of football, that, boys. Right, quiet start to the second half. We'd had absolutely nothing. But here we go again. So we're trying to get the dribble more on. I do like a centre-half with dribble more on. Edu Sanchez on his right foot. He's been linked to some big clubs as well. Chelsea, Fulham, Lazio are all after him. 50-odd million pounds. But I said we're at the point now where we just build on what we've got. We need to make sure we don't lose players on frees and sign contracts. Obviously, there'll be a couple that'll naturally go. And we'll think Malaga's too small for him and want to move on. So we're going to have to make sure we try and get top value for them. And I think, guys, we're going to do some subs in a minute. Still think we're a little bit light in certain areas. So Teo can come on. Let's change fullbacks, yes. Let's get Ramos on and Hapov on that left-hand side. Let's just put him as a wing-back on support. He's not full-back on support. He's not absolutely amazing going forward. He said it's an option. Like, the reason why I bought him, because he can play left side centre-half. He's going to be a good backup. He can play left side. Obviously, he's not great. We need to improve maybe the technicals a little bit. But if we ever go to those inverted fullbacks like the Manchester City defenders, then he's going to be absolutely perfect in there. And let's go Mora. And I do think now we're just struggling. We're just short of one in there. Another one. So we do need to strengthen two central midfielders and probably another attacking player, with then Hernandez coming through the door as the other striker. Right, we'll see where this highlight goes. I probably need to take off the anchor as well. Ledesma, Mora, the youngster, Ahapov. We have got some young players out there. Ledesma's still young. Mora's in. Finish. Yes, he's buried it. He's got a wonderful left foot. Obviously well suited to that left-hand side shadow striker. Absolutely wonderful. And fingers crossed now, guys. We've got the game in the bag. Lovely little give and goes. Third man run. Mora. Absolutely love it. Oh, I can't do any more subs. We've already done the 5. That's fine. But what you are going to do is slow that tempo right down. Right down. Time waste. More disciplined. Ball that game for the last 20 minutes if we can. Right, free kick, Mora's whipped it in. Seconds, boys. Carlos. Oh, it's off the post. Who was that? Miguel Angel should have scored. And it could have been 3. Pavov, Mora. Get across. We've taken work into the box off as well because Teo's there and we do score goals. I think the striker in Hernandez is decent in the air. Mora's obviously quite good in the air as a striker. Teo is 6'5", but he's in there. He loves a toe poke. I never get Shapisky in there when he plays in there, but Teo literally acts like a poacher. And it is 3-0, and we've absolutely battered Valencia. Valencia, who was second in the league. Obviously, the league table, we're only 6 games in, so it's not like, they maybe had an easier start than what we've had, but we've had games now against... I class Valencia still one of the big boys, one of the tougher games. Away from home as well, and we just need to back it up now with a really good run. I think like halfway through the season last year, we were in like 9th or 10th, and it was only those last 6 games that really propelled us up into sort of like the European spots. We need to get Champions League football this year. I'm willing to kind of sacrifice the Europa League, I think, and, until we maybe get to the quarterfinals. They've bloody scored. We never keep a clean sheet, or do we? But I think we might sacrifice the Europa until we get into those quarterfinals. Rotate the squad as best we can. Goal awarded. No clean sheet. But there we go. 3-1. Really impressive. Up into 3rd place. Best of the rest we need to be this year. Valencia obviously going to be decent. Athletic Club, Sociedad, Madrid, Girona have made an absolutely shocking start considering they finished 3rd last season. All right, guys. That's it. I think we're going to do some shopping. I want to get the squad a little bit... we haven't got much money to play with. 21 mil. The bank balance itself. Oh, by the way, we've got a new stadium potentially on its way. They're in the planning stage. Searching for site. Plans capacity, only 42,000. But, it's a start. Excellent academy coaching. Exceptional youth recruitment. Superb training facilities. Superb youth facilities. Good for corporate facilities. Not too bothered about that right now because obviously the new stadium is on its way. Looking really good. 134 million in the bank. We did lose last season. We lost £3 million. There was also £21 million put in by the owner, but he doesn't put in much else, which is a little bit annoying. So we may look at spending that overall balance. There's money in there to spend. So we may look at getting someone in January. Maybe a new defensive midfielder. Like Ocon is good. Maybe someone who can play a little bit more. Ardagula then can maybe go up into the Treq Icon in other roles. All right, guys, so that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on today's video.